G'day friends, and welcome to our fourth lesson, or fifth lesson it is actually, for our Nature's Harvest class. We've got today and next week to go, so we'll continue with it. It's Vicky Wright, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Australia. So as I said, this is our fourth lesson with using Nature's Harvest along with the Nature's dies. Just a minute. Oh, sorry, it's not Nature's dies, it's Harvest dies. So that's our dies there. So that's what we're going to be using. Okay. I always think I've got everything ready. So this is the card we're going to be creating. Again, it's a simple, easy card, but one that is quite effective. I'm just going to grab our inks. You always think you've got stuff ready when you don't. So I think that's what I need. Okay, so again we're going to be using the Rich Razzleberry, Calypso Coral, Saffron and Mint Macaron inks, along with our lovely sponge daubers. Okay, so we'll just grab our kit, if I can find it. I've just piled everything on top here. I'm missing one. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Now, our base card is Calypso Coral. Our DSP is actually the Pretty Prints from the annual catalogue, but as I don't have any left, I'm going to use this one, this colour, which is probably Evening Evergreen, soft succulent, and it will still match. Okay, so first up, what we're going to do, bring in my Simply Scoring tool, and we're just going to score down there because I haven't pre-scored it, so that's what we'll do. Then what we're going to do is grab our bone folder, and we're just gonna burnish and along that score line so it's nice and crisp. Okay, and then we're going to put that aside. Now, with our paper, we're going to bring in our trimmer and we're going to trim our paper. So I want it about 5.5 long. Don't throw that away. You can use that for the inside of your card if you wanted to. And I'm just going to cut this off. Okay. Same thing. You can use that cut that down to strips. Use it for another card if you wanted to. So I love to chop my DSP randomly. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to put the short side along the top of the trimmer, and I'm just going to randomly chop this paper. Okay. There's no measurements or anything. And I'm just going to put that aside there like that. Put the trimmer away, grab my chair, then we're going to grab our piece of of basic white. That looks a little bit too long. Oh no. And we're gonna stick this down like that with a small space of white showing between each piece and along the top and bottom, just like that. Okay, now if your DSP was too wide, what I would do is trim from the the ends of the outside pieces. So it would be this piece or that piece. Okie dokie. Don't trim from the middle pieces because you will lose your pattern. Okay, because when you stick these pieces down, what you want to do, and hoping I've done that, which I haven't. Okay. Gonna try and keep your pieces together on your pattern. What have I done? I go like that. That's it. Yeah. You want to try and keep your pattern together. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think it looks nice if you try and keep your pattern together. So we're just going to stick this down again. Yep, that's the right way. With just a small piece of basic white showing in the middle. Okay, then we're going to do this piece. Now I always use multi-purpose liquid glue because it just gives me a little bit of leeway. And that is our, I probably could have left a wider piece there, a wider gap, but that's okay. I might turn it that way. Then what we're going to do is stick this to the front of our base card. Making sure your card's facing the right way. And just like that. Pressing it down gently so that it's all nicely stuck down. Okay, now I need another block. I've just realised that. Then what we're going to do is grab an image from our stamp set, which is this one here. Okay, so we're going to do this background. Okie dokie. Now I've already pre-cut a stitch circle using the, what do you call them? Stitched Stylish Shape dies. They're in the annual catalogue as well. And then we're going to bring in Rich Razzleberry ink. Ink our splotter image up. And I'm going to stamp off once. And I'm just randomly stamping. Actually, I might stamp off twice and see what happens. Yep. Okay. So that's that done. Then what we're going to do is, boy, I'm not really organised. I just want to get take a tool, and we're going to pop this up on the front of our card. And we'll grab our dimensionals. which are the mini ones, but that's okay. It just means we use a couple extras. And we'll pop one in the middle for good measure. And all we're going to do now is stick this to the front of the card, just like that. Okay, and just press gently down to hold that into place. Then what we're going to do is we're going to colour our reeds. I think they're called reeds, I'll call them reeds. Okay, so this is it here. I've already pre-die cut the shape from the Harvest dies, and it's that one there. Yeah, that one there, okay. So that's what we're going to be using. Then we're going to bring in our sponge daubers. So first up, we're going to be using our mint macaron. And we're going to grab our ink. I might just grab a piece of paper, just bear with me. That way I can just throw the paper out instead of ripping our graph paper. Okay, so I'm just going to sponge our reeds, the stems. Okay, now when I use my sponge daubers, I tend to just take a little bit of the excess off, and all you're doing is gently daubing over the area you want covered. And I will usually continue until I'm happy with the coverage. So you can make some of it dark and parts of it light. So I'm happy with that. Okay. So then what we're going to do is grab our Saffron ink pad, and we're going to do the tops of our reeds. And we want our Saffron sponge dauber. And the same thing, I'm just very, very lightly picking up a little bit of ink, taking the excess off, and we'll move around to this side, I think, so I don't bring any of the green in. And same thing, I'm just working over, daubing over ink until I'm happy with the depth of colour. Now, I'm a very light dauber, I suppose, or colour, or whatever you'd like to call it. Some are heavy-handed. Sometimes I wish I was a little bit more heavy-handed because I like the effect. So that's done. So don't put your sponge dauber away yet. You'll see why in a minute. Then we're going to bring in Calypso coral. Now you could leave it like that if you wanted to, and it looks quite nice, okay? But we're going to add a little bit more oomph, I suppose. And what do we want? We want our Calypso coral sponge dauber and our ink. Same thing. I'm just taking off the excess, and I'm just going to highlight just parts of the bottom. Just like that. Okay. Put that away. Close up our ink pad. And I'm going to bring in our Saffron ink dauber again, and I'm just going to sponge over the top where we finish with the Calypso coral, just to blend it a little bit. And that's it. Okie dokie. So that's our reed. Okay, very easy, very simple. And then all we're going to do is put this on here like that. Just over there like that, that'll do. So all I'm going to do now is grab our ink, our adhesive. Now you could use Stampin' Snail if you wanted to, or fine tip glue. If you're heavy-handed with the fine tip glue, heavy-handed with the Tombow, the fine tip glue is probably better because you only want a little bit along the middle. Okay. And I'm just going to put that just like that. And just press down very gently. There you go. Just like that. Nice. Then we're going to bring in our die cut shape that I've already done. Now the shape is from the same set of dies. That's it there. That's the one I've done, and I've just die cut it from basic white. Okay, doke. And we're going to bring in our sentiment, which is thank you. Thank you. Put that down. Bring in our block handle. Grab our rich Razzleberry ink. Ink it up. Tap, tap, tap. Now, as you know, I always stamp off onto scrap paper first so that I know it's going to be nice and straight. So this will be out of eyesight for a sec. Yep, nice. So that's our sentiment done. Okie dokie. So then we're going to pop this up with our dimensionals again. And as I've only got the minis, we'll use those. They do the same job. Bring in our base card. Just pop that up about there. We don't want it right up the top. About there. And we're going to finish it off with a few of the brushed brass butterflies, which are here. We want our tool pick just to pick them up. One down there. One over here. I like these butterflies, they're nice. And we'll just add a couple of little ones, eh? One there. And I've put one on the sentiment, so let's do that again too. There. Have him on an angle. And that is our card. But of course, we've got to have a matchy-matchy envelope and a matchy-matchy inside. So I'll just grab some white. Yep. And we will grab our gash piece of paper and we'll put that down our envelope, eh? Now, as I said, this class was actually our Stampin' Card Club for October. So you were quite welcome if you wanted to join us to subscribe to the December Stampin' Card Club, which is now open. The November one is now closed, but the December one's open. Okay, so just head down onto my blog, which links below, and just follow the link to subscribe. Okay, so that's our envelope. Then what we're going to do is we'll put a piece of this on in the inside as well. So we're just going to chop a piece of the paper left over. Don't throw that out, you can still use that on something. And this is going to be the inside. Now, bear in mind that I've cut this a little bit shorter than needed. So we're just going to have a little bit of white showing along the top as well as down the sides. Okay. And then we're just going to pop this in the inside of our base card. Just like that. And just gently press it down. So as I said, that's our finished card for today. I'm not sure which I like the best actually. I like this one and I'm not a green person. So that's our card for today. So these are all our cards in this class. Next week I'll have a 3D project. So in our Stampin' Card class, I always include, you get 3 kits, 2 of each 3 designs, and you also get 3 bonus tutorials, which includes a 3D project. So these are our cards that we've created so far. Well, in this class. So that was one of them. I think we did that last week. So that was lesson 3. Lesson 1, 2. That was lesson 1. I'm just taking them out of the cello bags. And that was lesson 4. So they're our cards, okay, that we've created in this class. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you can see all that. Okay. And as I said, don't forget to join me next week and we'll have our last lesson for this series. Okay, thanks again. I really appreciate it. See ya. Hooray.